to strategic, how AI is transforming finance and accounting operations. A panel discussion brought to you by the Controllers Council. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council. And before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. This webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions, so please answer each poll. If not CPE, please answer to benchmark your peers. Also regarding CPE, we'll have a quick survey directly after the presentation, so please complete, again, to receive CPE credit. And next, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask our experts questions. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. And with that, I'm very pleased to introduce our partner and sponsor, Zip, the AI platform for finance automation, built for humans and agents working together. Leading enterprises like T-Mobile, OpenAI, AMD, Mars, Dollar Tree, and more use Zip to control purchasing, reduce risk, and unblock innovation. Together, they've saved over $8 billion and processed over $500 billion in spend. Learn more at www.ziphq.com. And now I'd love to introduce our esteemed panelists. Sameer Syed is a CPA and Chief Accounting Officer at Zip, where he leads the company's accounting and deal strategy functions. With nearly 15 years of experience, Sameer has spent his career building and scaling accounting teams at high-growth tech companies. Prior to joining Zip, Sameer held senior leadership roles at Titanium for over 9 years, and most recently serving as CAO as well. Early in his career, he worked in assurance at PwC and held accounting roles at Proofpoint. Sameer holds a Bachelor of Science in Commerce with a concentration in accounting from Santa Clara University and is a CPA license in California. And Ken Liu serves as Director of Accounting Operations at Huntress, where he spearheads the strategy and execution for accounts receivable, accounts payable, and corporate expense management. Previously an auditor at EY, Ken began his journey with Huntress 6 years ago as the company's controller. As the organization scaled, he transitioned his focus to optimizing the financial operations and processes. And most recently, Ken has been building AI-powered workflows to increase efficiency and precision across his team's daily operations. Sameer and Ken, welcome.
Thank you, Neil. What a great intro. I love being called an expert, and my qualifications are out loud. It makes me feel special and starts the morning off well.
Thanks, Neil. Happy to be here.
You bet.
All right. Well, before Ken and I get into our dialogue and we can hear about Ken's experience running accounting operations at Huntress, I would love to level set what we're seeing broadly with different finance and accounting teams when we check in. And the first thing I want to do is unpack what we're seeing in terms of the powerful technology with AI that's really disrupted for the better how our teams operate today. And the challenge we're seeing is this messy middle with teams, which is they're trying to apply AI today to yesterday's technology and yesterday's workflows. And so what teams are challenged with today is thinking bigger than that, which is how can I redesign and rethink my workflows with how powerful AI is today? Next, please. But the same challenge always exists. All of you know on this call today, over 300 of you today, that accounting and finance individuals always feel the pressure to do more with less. That has never changed since the dawn of our existence as accountants and finance professionals. But you feel that more and more today because now AI is coming down with such transformative technology that there's a directive to do even more with even less. So that's a lot of pressure for teams. It's a lot of pressure for Ken and I, and I'm sure a lot of pressure for everyone on this call. And I want to see what's happening on the ground here. And there's no better person to talk to than Ken. But before we do that, we'd love to kick it off with a poll. Neil?
You bet. All right. Hannah, are you going to kick off that poll? Okay. How would you describe your team's current use of AI in finance and accounting operations? So please take your time to answer this poll. All results are anonymous, confidential.
Yeah, and unsurprisingly, I imagine we're going to see a lot of responses across the board. What do you think, Ken?
I was actually very interested to see what kind of responses we get, because I feel like the AI experimenting and using that us in Huntress is not typical of the broader controllers. So for me, I don't. I'm probably in between actively using and I don't want to say fully embedded, but somewhere in the middle between there. So it's kind of interesting to see, 20% not started and 50%
Let's
experimenting.
let's share those results first.
Oh, sorry. I didn't got too
Um,
far ahead of myself.
all right. Yeah. So per your point, actively using 20%, fully embedded, only 1%, experimenting the majority 54%, and not started 19%. So not sure 6%. So yeah, gentlemen, any thoughts on these results?
Yeah, I mean, to Ken's point, I'm not surprised, right? This is transformative technology that's really moved quick and entered our lives. So you're going to have a wide array of people who not started and slowly through maturity and using of the tool will get to fully embedded. So this resonates a lot for me. And for the people who haven't started, this is completely normal. This is new technology, right?
Right.
And the point of these kind of conversations is to kind of guide and talk through how we can go through these stages and eventually become experts like we have been with Excel for the last 20 plus years.
All right. Well, let's close that up and
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. So uh so let's talk about AI budgets, right? If I step back and go, would you like more money for technology? We'd all love it. It's really hard to get technology spend proof these days. So it's almost a blessing that a majority of companies are investing so heavily in AI and giving us such transformational technology to operate from. We should be super excited about that. But the challenge we face by getting something so transformational and so quickly, and next slide, please, Neil, is that we're kind of playing in this sandbox with no guidance and no enablement. And so while we have this incredibly powerful technology, what we saw in the poll is exactly what we're seeing here, right? Is you have some people who maybe have not experimented, whether due to budget constraints or enablement constraints. You have some who've taken the time to experiment, whether personally or professionally. But everyone's kind of figuring it out themselves, and there's nothing wrong with that. The most you can learn is experimenting yourself. But with something so foundational coming out that will fundamentally change how we work as professionals, there is an importance of how we think about a framework for enablement and guidance. So all of us know how to operate this tool most effectively and not waste our time or grind our gears in ways because we're just not sure how to operate. And so there are some barriers to how we operate this, and I want to unpack that a bit. And the way to do that is I would love for everyone on this webinar to answer our next polling question around adoption of AI today.
All right. Let's launch that poll. What is your biggest barrier to adopting AI in your finance operations? So again, take a few seconds and anonymous, confidential, of course.
Yeah.
Uh,
And same here. I imagine, we'll see some answers across the board around this. Ken, any guesses on where you think a majority of the answers will be?
My guess is guidelines. It's because that's where we were when we started the AI journey. It's a lot of people kind of tinkering with AI, getting their feet wet, but not knowing exactly where to go and where the borders are, I guess, of AI. Um, but yeah, I'm interested to seeing what the audience is.
Well, we're into it a minute, so I think I could go ahead and show that. And well, you were close, Ken. Guidelines is 26%. That's number two after readiness is 37%. That's
Okay.
interesting. And that's followed by guidelines, of course, and then budget was 12% and ROI 10%. Not sure 15%. So any surprises here, gentlemen?
I'll let you go first, Ken.
Yeah, like I feel like guidelines would have been first place. But it's very eye-opening to see that 37% are not ready and 15% aren't sure. So that's half the population, right? So um, a lot of people have not started and don't know where to start. So I feel like Sameer, you're the best person to tell them how to start.
Hey, look, Ken, I'm here to hear from your guidance because you mentioned you're experimenting and diving deep. And just for the interest of time, I would love to kind of unpack that and go to our
Yeah,
first kind of conversational topic with you, right? Which is
yeah.
you've mentioned experimenting and getting your team more ingrained into the use of AI day-to-day at Huntress. What are your current operational challenges you're facing today?
So let me step back a tiny bit. A year ago, nobody on our operations team knew exactly what AI was or how to embrace it. Uh, Barely our C-suite was embracing it. And then all of a sudden, it felt like a huge wave just came upon us a few months ago. I'd say like 6 months ago. Um, and then next thing you know, we're like, hey, let's do AI for everything that you can. Um, so I kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, where it was AI is here. Let's do something about it. Let's use it. Go. So I personally didn't have as much guidelines. So that's why I was saying guidelines. I was told that here are some tools, and then experiment with it. Take your time. A lot of it will fail, but you're gonna find some that will succeed and help you with automation. So um, I would say that the biggest operational challenge for us still is we're still trying to figure out how to optimize everything. I am using AI, gosh, almost every day now. Um, a lot of the things I'm doing, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm spending a lot of time, and then next thing you know, a day goes by and I failed at something and I couldn't get AI to work. So um, so yeah, trying to hone in on how AI can help you is definitely time consuming. It's an investment. So I feel like that is a huge challenge for any team out there.
Yeah, that's that resonates with what we saw in the poll, right, Ken? Which is
Yeah,
level setting expectations, figuring out the enablement gap, and understanding how AI can be a multiplier to what we do today,
yeah,
right? And we have a workforce pipeline problem, right? If we think of operational challenges, right? Accountants are entering the workforce in lower numbers than they ever have. And so AI almost becomes critical to helping us from operational hurdles.
mhm.
And so I guess that leads me to my next question to you.